Hello, you amazing over 3,300 people and the 82% of yet to subscribe. Welcome to another hotness unit of Age of Sigmar 4, and today we're going to be looking at probably one of the craziest shooting units in the entire game. That's right, we're looking at the Jezzails. They are a hotness. They have just been given a brand new kit in the new Skaven Tide box set, and they are looking pretty damn good. So yeah, they are infantry. So points-wise, you're looking at about 150 points for 3 of these models, which makes them pretty damn good. Now, there's a lot of things that are going to be really sort of affecting these. So when you may look at the stats, you may think, well, it's not really that good, Pointy. You know, there are better units out there, but it's what you can do with these things is the craziness. So obviously, not only are they're Skaven, they're narwhals, and there's probably other things that people have worked out what you can do with these things, but you can start bouncing them around with the narwhals and move them around and actually snipe what you need. You're going to be wanting one of the new engineers to support them because that's pretty cool, and one of the warlocks as well are really kind of handy to have them around. But if you're going to go heavy into your Jezzail army, you're pretty much going to be looking at the battle formation for the warp cog configuration, because the main reason is your scryer units, which these are a scryer unit, so any buffs that come to scryer units, they're going to be affected by. So you pick up the 3 scryer units in to the unit, and basically you roll a dice for each target, and basically don't roll a 1. So if you roll a 1, you take D3 mortal damage, which is going to hurt because you've only got a health of 2. But if you roll a 2 or a 5, you get +1 to wound, so you're now wounding on 2s. If you roll a 6 or more, you not only wound on 2s, but you're now going to be Rend 3, which is pretty damn good. Now, your warlock is also going to be able to ignore the -1 for covering fire. So when you shoot in your opponent's turn, which is also viable, you're normally -1 hit. This means that you're no longer going to be -1 hit, so you're still going to be hitting on 4s, which when you're hitting on 4s normally it's pretty good to be able to do that. And obviously, if you've got an engineer nearby, which is something that you probably want to have nearby, you're going to be able to ignore the guarded hero ability as well. But other than that, what makes them good? Well, let's have a look. They've got a 4-up save, which is not too shabby for a Skaven, to be completely honest. They have a movement of 6, which is pretty impressive for a Skaven. They have 2 health each, which, bear in mind, you've got a unit of 3. Potentially a unit of 6. I mean, 150 points, so why not take a unit of 6? And they've got control of 1. Now, their special ability is your shooting phase. If this unit has not moved this turn and was not set up, you add +1 to hit. All right. So we already know that we can get +1 to wound, and now we're getting +1 to hit. Now, obviously, if you're bouncing through your narwhals, that is going to be counting as you moving, and you're being set up, so you're not going to get that +1. But if you're staying stationary, +1. 24 inches is also a pretty decent range. So they're getting +1 to hit, so they're going to be potentially hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s. They've got 2 shots each at 24-inch range, with a potential of having Rend 3, damage 2, and crit auto wounding is absolutely bonkers. They can pretty much pump out the hurt, to be fair. There may be some other shenanigans, and I'm pretty sure that if there's any hardcore Skaven players in the chat right now watching this video, you could probably drop a little comment below if there's anything that I've missed. I've tried to go through as much of the faction pack as I can. I even actually was looking at what a combat attack was, because I found a prayer that gives you +1 to wound. And I was like, ooh, that would be really good. But then that's for combat attacks, which is close combat weapons, not ranged weapons. So, yeah. I think these are pretty scary. Shooting units, I play a lot of close combat armies. And and shooting, like my Seraphon doesn't really like shooting very much. My Cities of Sigmar hate shooting, and my potential next army I'm probably going to do for AoS is probably not going to be a big fan of shooting either. But shooting is scary, and this is a lot of hurt that they can pump out with. The new models are beautiful, so you know you're going to get them. Yeah, and I just think these are really, 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 really good. Now, eventually I will cover Longstrike Raptors, because I think Longstrike Raptors are also a really good unit. I've seen Sentinels in play. I'm not overly impressed with them. They pump out a lot of shots, but they're not as scary as they used to be. And we'll look at things like the Gossamer Archers as well for the Sylvaneth, and see if they compare. But from what I've seen of Longstrike Raptors and these, I think these are two very good units, and we'll probably do a video on the Longstrike Raptors at a later date, and we can kind of compare the Jezzails and the Longstrike Raptors. But for me, these things are absolute nuts. The amount of buffs that you can get around them, and the, you know, not moving and getting +1 to hit, 2 shots, like 3s and 3s at least. And even if you are going to lean into the scryer shooting sort of stuff, now bear in mind that battalion doesn't just affect these; it's also going to affect things like your warp lightning things, and a lot of all of your ranged weapons, basically, which is really, really good. I mean, you know, it's a pretty decent battalion if you battle formation, if that's what you really wanted to do. So Scryer, most of your shooting stuff is probably going to come from Scryer anyway. So, you know, and these are probably going to be your main one. So yeah, these are definitely on my hotness list. So if you are a Skaven player, you should be very, very, very happy. But you should also be very, very happy because you're about to get some amazing new miniatures. So yeah. So that is it. That is another hotness video. We will be covering the Hex Wraith soon. We're also going to be covering again Drasta. And if you have any other hotness units, let me know below. I've got a couple of heroes that I'm going to be looking at as well. Some really, really, really beat stick heroes. And yeah, really, really quite impressed with Age of Sigmar 4 so far. Really loving it. So if you like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your mum and dad, tell everybody, and yeah, and check out my members and Patreon areas if you want to obviously support me in other ways. But the main way to best support me is by hitting that subscribe button. All right, so I'll catch you all in the next video, everybody. Goodbye for now.